I'm so excited. I decided this challenge to work out every day, Monday to Friday, each time that I get a chance. So today I'm on my day 10. So I'm just gonna be working out on the treadmill for the next 20 minutes. And the goal for me is to just stay in shape because I realized I was actually ignoring taking care of my health, not working out, giving excuses. But in the process, I'm just gonna be talking about what's going on in the market, what I think. I'm a trader and a retail trader, so that's my day job. So I hope it's going to motivate you guys to also pursue whatever you may be contemplating doing. I was today I was almost like kind of like feeling like, well, today it's raining. There's always an excuse, right? So, hello, thanks for joining me. And but I think the fact that I decided to say the next 20 days, I'm gonna see the next 20 days, I'm gonna be working out, making sure that I'm going to make sure Monday to Friday I wake out. That on its own, it really gave me the motivation to just, get out of the house and do what I had to do, which is the right thing to take care of my body. So it's day 10. The first day was really hard. Today, I think now it's much easier. I can feel it. And I think my body has adjusted to working out almost like 5 days a week. So I'm excited about that. Now, let's talk about what has been going on in the markets, particularly in the US stock markets. Make sure you comment, you let me know what you guys want to talk about on the comments, you subscribe, you support my channel. My goal is to be monetized by April next year. And right now, my watch hours, I'm almost getting in the middle point because you need 4,000 watch hours to be monetized. But it's not easy. 4,000 watch hours, it's not easy. So I'm taking one day at a time, creating content, and just pushing myself. I see I have 10 people. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you so much. How are you guys doing? Make sure you subscribe, you follow me, and you tell me what you guys want me to talk about. When I come to this workout, my goal is to just be, be myself and share with you guys how I'm making money in the markets. If I'm losing, I share with you guys and what I'm learning. Just being honest with you guys because a lot of people they only tell you when they are making money. Now, most of you probably you can see on my channel. I mostly talk about trading, mostly using options, and this is the strategy that I use: selling secured goods and sometimes buying shares. But please make sure you understand that what I'm sharing with you guys is just my experience. It's not investment advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm a random guy who loves to share educational content with people. So make sure you support me, you comment, you follow me, and you tell me exactly what you guys want to talk about when it comes to investing, trading, the content that you guys want me to produce. So I was saying today the US equity market, it really in the morning it was down most stocks. But then companies such as Meta, Google is actually becoming a leading AI company because there's a report that they started manufacturing their own GPUs. So that's why you see Nvidia today, it was down big. So basically, it's gonna, if everything works out, it's gonna take some of the 80% market share that Nvidia had. Because Nvidia was the darling in the artificial intelligence space. So it's not good news for Nvidia. So Google is one of those companies when it really dropped into $170 per share. I was like, wow, this is cheap. I got some shares, but I sold early. Imagine, I think I sold just above 200. Now it's trading, it was trading above $310. And Warren Buffett, recently there was a report that he opened a position on Google. What that tells me is that there's a lot of potential for Google. And with Google, the advantage that they have is they have a lot of access access to a lot of data. Because when you Google, when you search, so Gemini, their AI vision of chat GPT is actually in a very good position to actually be better because it has all this information that we when we search, when we do this, everything on Google, it has this information. So the question is, do I consider buying Google at that price? No. Once you see a stock really rallying like that, you're more likely to lose money because the stock, what I've seen is they go, there's a demand zone, supply zone. The demand zone is mostly concentrated areas where buyers have control. So you see these big companies such as JP Morgan, for example, Bank of America, these hedge funds that have a lot of money that can really move the market. They can put big orders, let's say for 100 million. Now, there's supply zone is that area where sellers have control. So usually when a stock goes to all-time high, because there's no supply zone, it's most likely going to go down to the demand zone to grab liquidity. So if I wanted to get in, I would not chase. It's more like if you want a girl, I married by the way, you don't have to, you have to let the girl come back to you on your arms. And then rather than chasing them, the more you chase the girl, the more you are likely to lose that girl. Right? So it's the same. If you are a girl, you want a guy, if you pursue the guy very aggressively, most likely that guy is going to be annoyed and then not come back to your arms. So the point is, I'm not buying Google at those prices. And usually there's always a good time to buy a stock. There might be crash, there might be other stocks that are undervalued. So that's what I do. I'm focusing on understanding a list of stocks. If I see a stock on Bloomberg that is they are talking about, my first instinct is like, oh, this is very interesting. Let me go and look at their financials. Are they profitable? Do they have good management? What are analyst ratings saying? Are they saying this stock is undervalued? Do they have good growing free cash flows, but long-term debt that is not really growing and far outpacing free cash flows? Do they have cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet that is enough to cover their cash obligation, their operating for the next 3, 4, 5 years? So that's what I do. Is I have to understand all those things. See if insiders are insider selling. As an example, Alec Clef, the CEO of Palantir, if I pronounce this name right, reportedly sold about, I think, over 90 million worth of shares. Was it something that was scheduled to happen? I'm not sure. I didn't look into that. But about the same time, we sold about 300 million. So it's selling at that level. It was at around $154. Today, when I last checked, it was 164 Palantir. But the thing is, from insiders, these are the people who know exactly the financial position of the business and all these other info, this other information in more like real time because they have access to it. So if he is selling, what is that telling me? Well, for Palantir, it's a great business. They have almost zero long-term debt. Not many companies actually have that. They have they had over $1 billion quarter in their recent earnings. What does that tell you? It's a business that is very strong in terms of the solid fundamentals. But again, when I look at the forward price to earnings ratio, it's very high. So I'm a little bit, cautious when it comes to that. So I use options now to generate income. Let's say I want to get in Palantir when it's at 164,000, $164. I can take a cash secured put. This is not investment advice because you can potentially lose your money if you don't understand, if you don't have clarity over why and what you are doing. Again, sell a cash secured put, $10 down, let's say 155. If it's at $165 now, and that's the strike price, get paid maybe $700. That means effectively, if I take 1 month out, I will probably generate $700 in that one option contract, and I should have 155, 15,500 as cash secured, more like it's a collateral, and then I get $7 out. And if balance there drops to below 155 at the end of the still keep my $7, right? $700, $7 per contract. So that's how I would play that. But there are a lot of other things that I have to consider that I didn't mention here. So I'm just giving you an example here of how I play stocks. And I like to get in when the stocks are really beaten down. And that gives me an advantage. Hi, how are you? How are you doing? Thank you so much for imposted velocity. Looking good. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was just reading your comments. I'm trying and it's not easy. I can tell you that it's very tough to be consistent with life. So I'm just trying my best to make sure I work out, I become the best version of myself, despite whatever happens in life, whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, working out is becoming a non-negotiable, something that I have to do. Where are you guys watching from? I'm in Canada, and the weather here is nice. It was kind of like raining, but it's that time of the season. At least in British Columbia, where I live, we don't have as much snow. Some of my friends who live in Alberta, they receive more snow. Oh, they are already driving in the snow, and we are lucky here in a beautiful British Columbia. We don't have as much of those problems. Now, for my workout, 40 seconds, and let me increase this a little bit. I'm going on 4.0. Let me add the steepness a little bit. We have at least a steep count, but also increase the speed. I like to work on my cardio. I feel good about it because, you know, Just over a week ago, I could barely run 100 meters without feeling like I was gonna pass out. This is not good for me, for my health. I have to make sure that I stay healthy. I take these small incremental steps every day. Wake out, go to the gym, eat healthy, make sure I have enough time to rest. Another thing that I'm learning really is when it comes to having a proper lifestyle, it's a whole list of factors. For example, I've noticed that if I don't sleep properly, let's say if I don't get 7 hours, it's hard to have more than 8 hours if you have a young kid. Because sometimes they wake up, come, wake it up. But I try to just kind of like have enough sleep. Then that means that helps me the next day. I will be more productive and more focused. The kind of work that I do, trading, researching stocks, creating content, I really have to be in a very good frame of mind to be productive. So that's what I try to do. Are you guys having enough sleep? Where are you guys watching from? Make sure you subscribe, you comment on my channel here so that the YouTube channel recognizes this. And today I was kind of like like really busy minded. I'm working on my 2 book guides for my trading strategies that I got comments from my mentor, professor, and I had a meeting with him and I was just getting more feedback. So I had to work on to edit, include some of the feedback that I got. I'm really grateful for that. And so that was really something that I did. I didn't did I make any trade? I closed one position that I had for that $15 profit. I was like, you know what? Let me exit this position for now because I'm gonna be traveling. And sometimes the best way to enjoy your time is not to be some up and down swings in the market. You want to be present. I'm going to be in New York, God willing, uh, on Saturday, leave on Friday, and just to travel, enjoying myself and my family. And I'm gonna try to continue sharing my workouts, things that I learn as I travel. Really, that's the beautiful thing about social media. Sometimes you don't have to travel to see what's happening in other parts of the world. You can just tune in on YouTube, at least have an idea of what's going on in other parts of the world. So make sure you subscribe to check out some content that I share and also some of the articles on my website and programs, coaching programs I have on www.streetwiseeconomics.com. You can also check on my YouTube channel. You see, you want to book a consultation, you go on my website and we can talk. I'm not a financial advisor, but I like to talk to people, you know, as a coach, learn about, how they are investing, what they are learning. I don't invest or trade crypto. I don't understand it that much to be trading. I try to be conservative because the greatest, I think Warren Buffett mentioned this reportedly that my number one job is to preserve capital, avoid permanent loss of capital. If you are a trader, You want to preserve your capital so that you can pay. So I'm mostly playing defensive. I'm not aggressive in my trading, in my investing. And in the process, I can compound the gains conservatively. And the goal is to simply beat the S&P 500. So that's my goal. And so far, I'm comfortable that I've been doing that. And it's easy to say because it's a bull market, right? Everyone can be saying, "Oh, I'm doing great," but when the market really crashes or drops, that's when you see, like what Warren Buffett says, who is swimming naked when there is a lot of when there's a crash, and you see a lot of people they use leverage. That means they borrow money, invest, and if the market crashes or drops significantly, most likely they are forced to sell in that point, maybe even at the bottom. And as soon as they sell, in my experience, the market bounces back because the US market is constructed in such a way that if you get the S&P 500, almost 70% of the time it's going up at an average of like 10% historically. And that's not a guarantee that it's going to go that way. So I like to think that if you want to build wealth, you have to be careful what you invest in. But going into equities, going into assets is another way. Some people do real estate, but in Canada here, the real estate market, especially in Ontario, has been really bad. Like I've seen people with house prices that have declined by 30%. That means a 30% drop. Hello, hello. So be careful out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm gonna hang out and go on Facebook and share with my audience as I do the other set of workouts. I really appreciate you guys. Bye bye. Make sure you subscribe and follow me here.